Hey friends, I am in the mood to paint a goat. It's a Nubian goat. I don't know how many goat breeds there are. It has the really long, cute ears. I put a daisy in its mouth, so it's gonna be sort of a companion video, a companion painting to Sunflower the cow video with the sunflower in its mouth. Let's get started. All right, I'm gonna do an 8x10. This canvas is from Michaels. It's been a while since I've showed you how they come packaged, and I hope this isn't gonna be too loud. I'm gonna take the packaging off and show you how the canvases come. And it's not just Michaels, it can be any brand. I shop at art stores. Okay, hang on, I can't get this off. Alrighty, I just had to get my scissors. So what I wanted to show you is a lot of canvases, they get handled. Oh, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but it's just pushed in a bit. And I have a video on shrinking up canvases. So I just wanted to show you that. And then I've been forgetting to write the word love on it. So I'm gonna write, I'm looking for a lighter color. Oh, these are watercolor pencils from Michaels. It doesn't really matter. Let's just grab one. But I think it's just a really nice way to start a painting. I'm gonna spray this with water. I'll link to that other video about how to tighten up your canvases. These are really nice. They're tucked, and then there's like they're splined. There's a little rubber strip in there. They're super nice. And since they're cotton canvas, they'll shrink up just like a t-shirt in a hot dryer. But anyway, I'm gonna paint this white to get some paint on it, and I'm gonna paint this a little different. Normally I paint the whole background first, but I think we're gonna paint around the goat just for something a little different so you guys can see that. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got the canvas nice and tight, and it's not completely dry yet. I don't know if you can see, it's a little darker, around the center. That's fine. I just want to get it nice and tight. I'm going to use a 1-inch filbert. It's a Royal Langnickel. I'm just going to use any brush you want. I would recommend a big brush. It'll go quicker. And then I just have a big jar of white Liquitex paint. So I'm going to squeeze some out there. Squeeze some out on my styrofoam plate. And I just want to put, you could paint, you don't have to put white paint down first. I just like to get a coat of paint on the canvas. And since I'm not going to paint the background first underneath my goat, I'm going to paint the background around the goat. I'm just going to get a coat of paint on here because I just like painting on that surface a little bit better. It's a little bit smoother. And it's not quite as absorbent as the gessoed canvas. Hey, you guys, I changed my mind. But first, I want to mention this video just recently posted. It has a traceable. You may like painting this sweet little chickadee. It's on a little 4-inch by 4-inch, 1.5-inch thick canvas. Isn't that fun? Okay, little plug there. So since a lot of beginning acrylic painters watch my YouTube channel, it can be harder to paint on a blinding white canvas. And that's why a lot of artists put down what they call a color ground. And it can be absolutely any color. Usually it's kind of a medium value, so then they can see their darks and their lights. So I thought we would just put maybe a medium light ground on there. So I've got titanium white, unbleached titanium, and Naples yellow. So here's what the unbleached titanium looks like. And the Naples yellow. Okay, and I'm just gonna mix this up and paint this on my canvas. Even though I put a layer of white on there, I changed my mind. So I thought I'd just let you know what I'm up to. A couple more thoughts. If you don't like the texture of the canvas, putting 2 or 3 coats on it will definitely tone down the texture. Let's see if you can see it. know if you can see that. And you can see I still have some light areas. It would take a couple coats if you wanted it super even. But it does. It already feels quite a bit smoother with 2 coats of paint on it. I like the texture of the canvas. You can see it even helps you like with little skipping. Where else can you kind of see the texture? Oh, here, those little like textured dots by the end of the tail. That's the canvas. I like that. Some people don't. Oh, and then you could already have your sides painted if you don't like to paint the sides of your canvas like this. And you could just let some of the elements fade off. That could be kind of cool. Just some ideas, totally up to you. I'm gonna let this dry. I've got a traceable that I'm gonna scan into my computer, so this gives it some more drying time, even though I dried it pretty well with a hair dryer. And then I have a white daisy in that goat's mouth. We gotta think about, we might trace the goat on, paint around the goat so you see something a little different, rather than me painting the whole background and then putting the goat traceable on top. But then we may, I may wanna paint behind that white daisy and then put the traceable back on and trace the daisy back on. I don't know if that made any sense. So what I'm thinking is we might not want the yellow to show through the daisy. We might want the background to show through the daisy. And if we paint around the daisy, that might be an issue. I don't know. All right, back in a little bit. Let's take a look. I scribbled on the back of my traceable with black chalk pastel. I didn't trace on the daisy. So I'm gonna save the traceable. I will scribble on the back of it when I'm ready for the daisy, and I'll tape it back on. I lined it up with the top corners. Oops, sorry, bumped my video arm. I lined it up with the top corners of the canvas with the top corners of my traceable so I can get it really close when I put this back on, because I couldn't decide. So in some styles of painting, like I've got a snowman painting, I have brush strokes that go around the shape of the snowman and kind of indicate snow and some swirls. And so we could do that with the daisy. We could have, you know, brush strokes that go around it. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. And I wasn't sure how the landscape part of this painting, the background's going to turn out. So I thought, well, just to be on the safe side, we'll come back and put the daisy on top instead of painting around it. Sorry, guys. What else do I want to say? I'm just cleaning up some of that chalk with a kneaded eraser so it doesn't smear more. Oh, and then I'm also thinking that I might, well, I'm going to start with the sky. And so in my sky painting video, I mentioned how usually the sky's bluer at the top and it gets lighter and grayer as it goes down. But skies can also get warmer as they go towards the horizon line. So this sort of creamy Naples yellow might be kind of fun to play with. And then I'm thinking that I might have some of the landscape kind of point this direction. And then the daisy looks out. It's actually looking out off the canvas. And it's kind of a trick to try and have, like in my cow painting, the sunflower looks more in. So I'm wondering if maybe I want to put like, I don't know, a little dark tree right there, a little hint of a barn. And so I might have sort of a directional brushstrokes going this way, kind of like in my simple landscape painting video. And then maybe some directional brushstrokes going this way, just to kind of keep your eye and the viewer in the painting. And sometimes I plan out paintings more because clearly I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the background on this cute goat. You know, you do what you're comfortable with. Sometimes I kind of like to play with the painting and let it evolve a little bit. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not so good. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm thinking I like Prussian blue because it's already a muted blue. It may look black. Oops, sorry. I've got my video arm up higher because this is an 8x10 canvas, but then it's a little bit more in my way. Both of those blobs are Prussian blue. That is burnt sienna. So it's it's browner than a red oxide. It's browner than a raw sienna. Here's raw sienna. I'm thinking we'll pretty much use burnt sienna for the goat. So I thought maybe I'd mix a little in there and see if that mutes the blue down. I'm gonna put a little unbleached titanium for our sky color too and see what we get. I'm basically cooking with no recipe here. And just I'm gonna see what happens. So Prussian blue, unbleached titanium, and burnt sienna. But see, the burnt sienna is kind of orangey reddish, which is hinting at the complement. You know, blue and orange are complements. Oh yeah, it's muting it down. And I put out some titanium white. I don't know if I'm gonna use it or use the unbleached titanium. Oh, that makes a nice muted blue. Like the scraping sound. What is that? ASMR? Suppose I could do this more often and have that be part of my videos. Okay. I'm gonna clean off my palette knife here. I didn't even decide what brush I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna grab a filbert. You know, I wonder if I want a bigger one. I kind of have small brushes and then bigger ones, but I don't have too many in-betweens. I don't know that that's much bigger. Get a little bit wet. It's a Simply Simmons flat shader. Oh, I don't know. Oh, here. I always forget I can measure it. Oh, probably a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then I'm hesitating because I really don't know what I'm going to do here. So I think we just got to get some paint down and make some decisions and see how it goes. Just a couple comments. So I'm trying to keep the sky lighter, and as it dries, it's getting darker on me. So I may come back later with a little, I don't know, Naples yellow, white. We'll see how everything else looks. And the yellow is coming through. Some of that's Naples, not Naples yellow, the unbleached titanium. But I don't know if you can see, but that's yellower than unbleached titanium. So I think that's kind of nice that some of the yellow's coming through. So having a background color can help unify your painting if you let some of the yellow or the background color show through. What else? I just painted over some areas so I didn't have like little places where the paint popped. Like there's a little teeny one right there. And I like to paint the sides. Some people don't, some people paint it black. Oh, there definitely some of the yellow showed through. I might come back with a little Naples yellow later. Oh, and then I painted over the head a little bit, just because it'll help it blend in to the sky. Oh, I missed right there. I might be able to, that might not be a problem too. Just because I missed right there. We might put in some trees. We'll figure that out as we go. Okay, I think for the land, I'm gonna do, the only green I have in my studio is Hooker's green. I do have a lime green, but I just don't think that's gonna be appropriate. I suppose I could mix it. I could probably mix it to a really interesting green. I should try that sometime. So I'm gonna mix some Hooker's green, some Naples yellow, And I'm gonna put a little burnt sienna in it to brown it up. Actually, I might put a little, I don't know if I'll put a little blue in it. I'm looking for a warm, dirty, warm green. Oh, that's a pretty yellow green. There, that's kind of muting it down. And I'm mixing it right on top of my dried Naples yellow. I don't know, I think I might mix a little burnt sienna and I don't know, maybe some blue. So I just have some different colors and values to work with. And then I'm gonna work on painting the ground, the field. I suppose it's a farm field. Well, that's pretty muted. I like that. Hey, I moved my camera up a little bit. I don't know if it made any difference. I'm trying to get more of my palette in. One of the things I'm doing is I'm using matte medium, which is right there. So I'm just putting down sort of light glazes of color I think I'll put like a little, I don't know, indication of tree or a barn or something there. I really like the sky, but I'm still thinking it's too dark. But I always struggle at the beginning of a painting until it starts to sort of take on a life of its own. And I do like that there's some movement back here. It's way too light and the color's way too bright. I'm gonna need to mute them down some more. I may throw in my favorite neutral gray 5 or maybe a little black or something. But I just wanted to tell you what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna like the direction of it, because then we'll have the daisy here, and even though the daisy looks out, these lines will help pull us here, and then the eyes and the nose really catch our attention. So we'll have eyes, nose, daisy that's leading us out, which isn't so great, but then we'll have something pulling us back here. So we'll kind of get this going in the painting. Other than that, I don't think there's much to talk about. I'm just playing. Not sure I like, this one's gonna be an overall warm painting, whereas my cow and sunflower was a much cooler painting because I painted everything black and white first and then I glazed. And you could do that with this one too. You could paint the whole thing with black and white values and then glaze it. And you could have 2 matching paintings because you can paint that cow 8 by 10 too. I think that's about it. I'll be back in a little bit. Hey friends, so I've been fighting with this background. I definitely think it would have been easier to paint the whole background, put the goat on top. You totally can do it this way. You can see better where things are gonna line up because you've got the goat on there. You know how the clouds are gonna line up. My sky needs to be lighter, otherwise it starts looking stormy. I tend to do that. I tend to make my skies dark. And then I think I still want to lighten this up more so that there's more, I don't know, I think what I'm gonna do is quit for tonight and see how it looks in the morning. I've added some, I'm not using white. I want to save white for the goat so that it really pops forward. I really like it when you get that distance. You don't have to do this. I'm just telling you some of the things I'm thinking. So this isn't white. That is white. I actually drew that in there so I didn't lose the back side of the goat. I drew it down here too because I was losing, I don't know if you can see that, I was losing the front part of the goat. But the dry brush is really nice. It's still picking up some of the texture of the canvas, and it kind of just helps give a little hint of, I don't know, stuff growing, grass, it's a field, that kind of thing. I suppose a field. And I was trying to curve this more, and it was just fighting me. And then I realized I needed to straighten this out. So I probably shouldn't do it without thinking about it. That's gonna be too dry. But so I straightened this out a little bit more. Oh, we may need to put in some of those too. That's kind of nice, actually. All right, but I think I'm gonna lighten up the sky with some zinc, like glazing some zinc white on it, and then take a break. One other thing I didn't tell you, this pretty chocolate brown is Prussian blue and burnt sienna. And you just mix it till you get a pretty brown color that you like. Just thought I'd mention that. I didn't put out, it's pretty close to burnt umber. I didn't put that out, I just mixed the two colors. Let's start working on the goat. So I put my traceable back on, but first I scribbled, you know, where the daisy is and re-scribbled where I thought the stem is. And then I didn't trace all the daisy because you can trace every petal if you want, that's totally fine. I didn't want all that black chalk pastel in my paintings. So I just traced kind of the stem, the back side, and then where sort of the outer limits of some of the petals. And I am not happy with the background, but that's totally normal for me. So if you're like me, not everybody is, sometimes your painting just needs more time to evolve, more layers, more, you know, and then to not like the background when I don't have any of the goat done is kind of funny, you know? But I do that. I tend to do that. And I'm gonna start working on the eye first. So I got extra chalk on here from when I laid that traceable back on. I'm just picking some of it up, and I already lightened the eye. Just so I don't drag it around with my hand or the brush. But mostly I'm worried about that area right there. Oh, and you can see me pushing on the canvas. I have a video on tightening up your canvas, and you can do it even after it's varnished. You know, you can have one that's varnished and you can spray in there and either dry it with a hair dryer or let it dry overnight, and it'll tighten right back up. And then I've got my palette going. I'm gonna use the same colors. So, burnt sienna, right? Yep. So burnt sienna, Naples yellow, Prussian blue. This is very similar to my hippie hair video where I did the Highland cow, and I just used 3 colors. I put some black on there just because I'm not sure I want to use blue, a combination blue and the burnt sienna for my darkest values. And I think the first thing I'm gonna do is take a little round brush. I got a little wet, and I'm gonna, so in art you don't really outline. You have some edges, and then maybe like this is probably gonna be a soft edge. You know, it's a white ear. But I'm gonna maybe break some rules depending on who you talk to, but I'm gonna outline the dark parts or the black parts of this eye. And I'm just rolling the paint off. So I'm using black, and I'm trying to look around my phone a little bit here. Because we can come back and soften some of these black areas. Actually, well, no, I guess I want to use black in the pupil. So I drew the pupil smaller than it is in my reference photo. So I think I'm gonna make it a little bigger. It kind of depends on, I have a reference photo that's kind of medium values, and then I have one that's really light. I lightened up quite a bit because it was easier to make the traceable from the light one, because I could see more detail in the nose. But that really does kind of change how the eye looks, or the pupil of the eye, which is interesting. Okay, I like to start with the eye because it's kind of, to me, the most important part. This is basically a pet portrait, an animal portrait, and the eyes really matter, to me at least. So we'll try and get that right and then build off of that. I'll probably work on the eye and then work on the nose, because that's also important. Liked that whole time lapse of my first layers around the eye. I mean, it doesn't look that great. I suppose I shouldn't, I mean, that sounds, somebody's gonna say, oh, don't be hard on yourself. But I'm just finding the darker darks. I'm not using white. This eye is in shadow. The light's coming from this direction. I may put a little shine in there. Just cause, even though it's not in there in my reference photo, but I'm just finding the shapes. I'm gonna let this dry and I'll put at least another layer or two over it. But I thought that might help you to see how I start an eye. Friends, I'm gonna stop for today, and I thought I'd pop in with a couple of thoughts. So some artists really criticize using a traceable because it becomes a paint by number. So we're gonna let you get a look at the nose there, and I sort of am. I'm kind of saying, oh, warmer here, cooler there, you know, this shape here, this shape there. Here's a look at the eye. Because I don't want to lose my roadmap, because the structure is important. The ears, as I mentioned, are really white. I don't know how white I'll make them. I'm already starting to shape them a little bit. So it's up to you if you don't like doing this. If you were painting it and have really been working on your drawing skills, you would still mark in, you know, the ears, this shape, it goes here. The eye goes about, you know, right here off of the ear. You know, the nose and the head's kind of a football shape. You would do the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out down the road why some people think traceables are cheating, but I don't think so. If it helps you get the structure down and take some of the pressure off, I mean, I think that's cool. And then you don't have to paint the colors I have here. I'm just kind of playing, like I've got this ear way cooler than the nose, so I'm gonna come back with maybe some straight up white or some different colors. But it also helps give me a little bit more interest and a little bit more value change when I do that. Okay, well I hope you like it so far. I never know if a painting's gonna turn out, just so you know. But it's starting to come together a little bit, and I'll be back later. Hey friends, so I had saved my background palette, which was a good thing because I noticed I had a little shape here where it was supposed to be sky, and I think I thought it was head. So I came in with just a little bit of my blue color, a little bit of white, a little bit of matte medium, and I just kind of blended a little new cloud shape in there, sort of. And then I think I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference, but I put a little white up here. Anyway, it's handy to save your palettes if you can, or you can mix the color again. You know that you use Prussian blue. What did we mix with it? Oh, probably the burnt sienna to mute it down. Anyway, just wanted to tell you what I noticed, and then I'm just painting. Well, I suppose I don't need to pick it up much because this one barely fits. Oh, maybe I'll just show you closer. I'm just painting shapes, and they're not that pretty, but I'm kind of figuring out values, general color, and it's gonna need another layer anyway. Can you see how thin it is right there? And then I can put in more like overlapping brush strokes and things to make it look like fur, short little fur, the little hairs on the goat's fur. Okay, I'll be back in a little while. Hey friends, so I'm working on the flower. These colors, I know I want them brighter, but I'm hinting, actually the stem looks pretty darn good, even though I painted it pretty messy. I think I'm gonna want more of a shadow here. Oh, and then I took some dark brown off of this palette, even though I used some blue gray here. And I think I'm still gonna mess with it a little bit more. But I pulled the lip down just a little bit because I like that he or she has a little bit of a twist to the jaw and the mouth, which, oh, hello Freckles. which I think is cute. And one of the reasons why I picked this photo, because then I put the daisy in its mouth because it looks like it's playing with it a little bit. What else was I gonna say? Oh, well, I don't know if I already said this or, so you can, after I kind of get some of these petals in, you can make this even more impressionistic looking, just by painting the shapes and the values. I would put I think I already said I'd put another coat on, just it'll look better with some layers, but you could keep it impressionistic looking like this. I usually go for a little more realism when I paint animals because I like it. That's just a personal preference. Okay, I just wanted to pop in with, you know, what I'm doing here with the daisy, and that I changed the mouth. And even though I had cool colors here, it's more, the values are more important than the fact that I picked up some warmer colors and a brown to change the shape of the mouth. It's really the lightness or darkness of the color is more important than the warmer coolness. Okay, although after I said that, a lot of times you want your cooler colors in the shade and your warmer colors in the light, but you know, values are more important. I don't know if you guys seen some portraits where artists use some bright splashes of color, but they still pull it off. Okay, I don't know if I'm making any sense. Back to painting. Someone mentioned, hey Freckles, that they wanted to see a little bit more freckles in my videos. So we got a little look there. So why did I paint my daisy blue? I'm not done with it. I also added a couple more darks on the back side because then I can add layers of white on it. So we're looking at the back side of the daisy. The sun's coming from this direction. So you really only get peaks of white coming through. We'll see how it looks as I move along. And then I thought, oh, I should add a little blue in the nose. I add a little blue there, add a little blue around the eye, and a little blue on his black stripe on his back, just to unify the painting, because it's the same blue I used in the sky. So that's why I did that. So from here on out, I think we'll have a lot more time lapse because I'm just going to refine everything, put layers. I may use a little brush to get some like fine lighter white hairs, first strokes, that kind of thing going on. Oh, and I need to put a shadow in my top of my eye and some eyelashes. Hopefully these tips are helpful, or these comments are helpful. let's take a minute for a screenshot. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit. Get it closer. And I think the face is pretty much done. And I've messed with the daisy, making it lighter, making it darker. Just trying to be happy with it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the time-lapse ears and the body. So the face is the most detailed, so the rest should go quicker. Oh, here, maybe even want a closer look. Oh, sorry, I just hit my video arm. There's the nose and the chin. Oh, and I added a little farm off in the distance. Here, you probably want to see the eye. Added a shadow, added some eyelashes. That's a really fun eye. That was a really fun eye to do. I'm not going to put any more highlight than that in there because it's on the shadow side. Okay. So I think it's working pretty well. You definitely look at these two and I think you get a decent amount of motion going. Okay guys, I'm done. I lightened up back in here a little bit. And actually, I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, but I lightened up the clouds a little bit just to get a little bit more atmospheric perspective. I think it turned out really fun. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I paint shapes. So even like there was this grayish shadow shape here. I mean, it's a funny shape, but I paint the shape and then I come back and add more layers. You can see most of the colors end up being pretty transparent. Yellow is really transparent. Black is not that transparent, but, and then in the photo, the ears were totally white, but I gave them a little more roundness, because if the light's coming kind of from the top left, well, actually it might be a little bit lighter right there, but it would be a little bit darker right there. What else do I want to say? Let me know if you like this one. It was really fun. Oh, and I think I know I mentioned you could paint it black and white like I did the sunflower cow painting. The video was posted a couple weeks ago. You could do this the same way. And then this is basically the simple landscape painting I did a couple weeks ago too. Okay, I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I love chatting with you guys. It's so fun for me. I really appreciate all your support, spending your time with me. It means so much to me. Great big art hugs. I hope to chat with you soon. Bye guys.